Yeah, I thought it was a great turnout for our guys. I was honored to have the senior class get recognized today. It's always a very emotional moment for them and their families. I remember mine like it was yesterday. And that class, man, I mean, it's hard to put into words or numbers what they've done. I tell people all the time, there's a 6-year group, Dan and Truss. There's a 5-year group, which is crowded. I don't even know, you guys know. And then there's a 4-year group. So we're honoring the 4-year group because the 4-year group's the one that set the record. But that group that was here 6 years, Truss and Dan, I mean, we say 51 wins. They were part of more than that. And they set a standard here. And if you make it 6 and 5 years in our program, you're a tough dude. And I appreciate those seniors, their families. I mean, the guys that never get their name called and go out there and work. Colin, great quarterback. I mean, this guy has gone live and been our running quarterback all year and taking shots. And I'm glad he got to get in the game at the end there. And a lot of other guys that don't get to play. I was really proud of those guys and what they did. Didn't play real well defensively, obviously. Disappointing there. Probably the best thing we need for a wake-up call. Played really well offensively, but we overmatched our opponent. So with that, I'll open it up.
With the defense, was it as simple as just poor tackling, or did something else stand out to you?
I don't know that it was just tackling. We did not tackle well, but it was more than just tackling. It was, like I hate to say it, I just don't think that our guys were ready to play and energized to play as their guys were. Their guys wanted it more than us. And it's very rare that I could sit up here and say that. Like, they were playing harder. They were moving us. They were playing physical. They had some nice RPOs and some nice play designs, but it wasn't about that. It was, I want to, like desire. That's the biggest thing.
Unusual in that you got a chance to see Tech play the other night, but just your thoughts as you get ready for them and what they're going to bring in here with that kind of two-quarterback thing.
Yeah, I got to see some of the game. We'll be working on ourselves first and clean that up, and then start getting ready for those guys. I mean, we break down their tape each and every week they play. We break down everybody who play. So, during the off week, we got to look at them a little bit and see them, and then some of the guys got to see them Thursday night because we get through a little bit earlier. But we're moving on to them now. They got a great program, great team. They're extremely physical. They run the ball well. They run with the quarterback well. And we got to play better.
What are the challenges and differences in the short week?
It's just that. I mean, we got 6 days instead of 7 days, so we have one less day.
Kirby, what did you see from Nate Frazier practice this week, knowing he's not kind of carried the load, and just ultimately what do you think of his performance today?
Nothing different. He did the same thing this week. He's done every week. He competes at practice. He gets better. He had a big physical offensive line against small guys, and that created a huge advantage for us.
And there's obviously a lot of football to play, and you have one more, but how will you remember this senior class?
Probably for the ups and downs and the way they've handled, they were part of 2 national championships. They're part of an undefeated regular season team that had 1 loss that didn't get to play for it, and then their story still be written in their last year. And they'll be remembered for being great leaders and being extremely bought in and pushing the younger players this year and last year, which is important. But they also learned from a really good group. They had older brothers that were very good leaders.
You have an update on Christian Moore?
No, something with his shoulder. I'm not real sure exactly what. I don't know. I think they put it back in. He had dislocated and they put it back in, but I'm not sure.
Arian says that you make sure it's very important they understand the rivalry, the clean old fashioned hate. Why do you find it so important? He said sometimes he feels like that you say you don't feel like they totally understand that rivalry.
Well, I don't know. We have kids from all over, right? They have kids from all over, and if you don't grow up in this state, sometimes you don't acknowledge and recognize that rivalry. I think our players, our current players, understand it. If you've been in our program for 4 years, you definitely understand it. But 50% of our team is either a freshman or new from a portal. And they didn't know. They weren't part of it. They haven't been part of it. So it's something that's important. It's instilled early in your career here. And we got lots of rivalries. This is one of the biggest ones.
Brent Key likes to talk about how important this game is, Georgia Tech, for him being a guy that played there and you played at Georgia. Is it the same way for you?
Yeah, all games are important, right? It's a huge game. It's a rivalry game. It's the end of the year. It's in the interstate. It's conference. You're representing your state, your program, and your conference.
Coach, 30 straight wins, is that important to you? 30 straight home wins, sorry.
It's important because it's the next one, you know. And, the next one will be just as important as this one was. So it's one of those that you don't get that without a great home atmosphere. You don't get that without great leadership on your team. You don't get that without a great coaching staff and great players. So you know, we got to step up, and you want to be part of a championship team. You got to win your home games. That's what I've always said. The best teams in Georgia win their home games. They go undefeated at home, and we've got a chance to do that Friday, which they just did it too.
Coach, in a game like that, you were able to finally get some of your walk-ons and other backups into the game, you know, for one of the first time. How cool is that to see once you know, I mean, because you know how hard these walk-on guys work to get a chance.
Just wish we'd have got more.
Yeah.
Just disappointed we didn't get an opportunity to play more. And that's what we talked about holding the standard all week for the other guys, and we probably didn't hold that standard in terms of defense to get other guys an opportunity to play. And I hate that, but I am proud of the ones that did get to, the ones who got to go out there and play and compete because they've earned the right to do that.
You got a chance to see Ellis Robinson and Camilo Jones out there. How important were those reps for them, especially late in this game?
Wish we got them more. The plan was to get them more. We wanted to get them more, but we weren't playing real well defensively, and they continue to get better. They practice really hard. They practice smart. I think Dante's done a great job with them. Both of those two guys have ascended throughout this year in terms of ball skills, awareness, tackling, instincts. They keep getting better and better, and their moment's coming. We just don't know what it is.
Chris Cole with the scoop and score. What have you seen from him in these last few weeks?
One of the hardest workers. He and Justin work extremely hard. They're number one. They're high character, super intelligent, come from great families, and they both work really hard. You know, Chris has had a little more success this year, got more playing time than Justin, but they're like best friends, and they work really hard, and they're very demanding of themselves. And Gabe Harris, made that sack fumble happen. That was a great get off, great rush by him, and he's worked really hard.
Back-to-back clean games for Carson Beck, 0 interceptions, only one in the past 3 games. So just what have you seen from him, the adjustments he's made? Of course, he credits the offensive line and receivers as well, but what have you seen from him?
I haven't really seen anything different. I mean, you guys read into the stats. You just look at the stats and say, "Ooh, clean game." And there's probably some throws there that could have been picked, but there's also some plays in the other games that shouldn't have been picked. So I look at decision-making and process, and he processes information really well, and he executes the offense really well.
What about some explosives today, in particular that long pass down the sideline? Would you see that?
Oh, nice.
You gave up a 75-yard touchdown, and you had pretty good
Absolutely.
coverage.
Yeah, we didn't play the ball. So it's elementary. You play the ball, and then you tackle the man with the ball. If the man catches the ball, it's okay. Catch and run with the ball, it's not okay. And that's not all on Daniel. I got to watch the film, but Dan knocked him off. I mean, you got to hit your target. So the two of them got to finish the play. You got to get the guy on the ground. That's I mean, fluke plays like that may happen, but the 200-yard rushing is much more concerning than a fluke play. Like that bothers me way more than the pass and catch.
What are you seeing out of Oscar? 3 touchdowns past 2 games and a couple big catches.
Yeah, Oscar's working hard. He competes. Ben and Luck, man, they're workers. Harley does a great job with them, demanding excellence. Carson does a good job getting them the ball. Proud of those guys' competitive nature. I mean, he kind of made that one. That was one that, you can't say it was a play action like the ones where last week. He broke a tackle, and he burst down the sideline and got the ball across the goal line.
So the Robinson running backs at least suited up today. How close are they to getting back?
Yeah, don't know. Branson was doing more last week than Rod, although Rod was kind of with the training staff. Branson did get to do some individual and do some cutting. I don't know. I didn't get to see them today. Obviously, they ran, but I don't know how much cutting they did. And we'll continue to work those guys. We're hopeful to get them back soon.
Coach, I know you also wanted a touchdown starter for but for Peyton to get that field goal, get some points out of that. How big was that?
Yeah, it was huge. Was that the long? That was the long one, right?
52.
That was the only one of the day.
53-yarder.
Yeah, it's 52 or 53 yarder. I mean, he's been really consistent, and that was actually into the wind, so it was right around the line to gain that we thought we needed. Thought if we got more than that, it would be easy to go for it if we could. And he's been really consistent, man. I mean, the operation, the snap hold, protection's been good, and it was a great kick.
What did you see out of Gunner last, fourth quarter there?
Wish he got to play more, wish he got to play more, wish he could have played more guys at quarterback, but I thought he operated well. He didn't have I think he had the better line one time, and then we had the other group come in and, didn't get to play a whole lot, but he's played well in the last couple of weeks. He's practiced well and done some good things. So I was very happy he got to get in. I just wish he'd been longer.
Coach, I remember the first couple of games this season, NFrasier was still trying to get the hang of the offense. How have you seen him throwing as a back throughout the season?
More confidence. He's still learning things. He still messes up, but he's electric. He's different when the ball hits his hands. He bursts in the hole. He probably sometimes too fast. He's not patient sometimes, but you talk about a kid that runs hard, works hard, and loves it. And those linemen love playing with him.
You haven't had too many games this season where you're done at this time of day. Are you going to be able to go home and watch football tonight, or did the short week change that?
Short week changed it. We've got recruits in, we've got OVs in, we've got to go to dinner with them, we've got to recruit them. I'm trying to get out of here now so I can go do that and then grade this film and put this game to bed. We're on a quick time clock, and we got to put this game to bed really quickly.
Ole Miss went down today. Were you aware of that? And are you even briefed on the scenarios that could happen to possibly get you in that game?
Get us into what game?
The SEC championship.
Yeah, I'm worried about Georgia Tech, man. That's all I'm thinking about. I could care less about anybody else in the world but my team and how we get ready in 6 days for Georgia Tech.
Got time for one more question? Anybody?
Thanks, guys.
All right,
Appreciate it.
appreciate it.